Hi there. This fashion show is going to focus on patterns made with garment designer software with a focus on coordinates. I'm Susan Lazier, the software designer and creative director at Cochineal Design Studio. So what we're focusing on here are clothing pieces that can work well together, and so I'm going to show you several projects where that was the emphasis of the design work. One of the reasons this is possible easily within Garment Designer is because we have what is called top plus bottom mode, where you can preview how your top works with the bottom. So we're looking at this inspiration here and my version of the pattern that would suit that. So what is top plus bottom mode? We consider it to be a preview mode. You design your top, you design your bottom, and then you can see how the two work together. And this is an example of a dress where the top is designed and then the skirt was designed. You can preview them together to see how they work, and the same would be true of coordinates. So if you're sewing, you can go ahead and put on hems and seam allowances, etc. But with coordinates, you might also want to knit or vice versa. And so if you're going to knit, you'll add your bands, put in the gauge, get your graphics, read the shaping instructions, and move on. Let's look at a few projects that utilize coordinate work. So this project was 5 pieces. And this was a design challenge that I actually did with Robin Spady, a weaver from Seattle area, for the Hand Weavers Guild of America. So they gave us a basket of yarn, and Robin was to weave fabric and I was to design the clothing. So this is the jacket pattern. And here you can see we utilized inlay, and we also utilized Robin's ability to weave velvet. So that was the jacket. And then I also designed a top where I sublimated images of the skeins of yarn onto the surface. So it was a t-shirt type top, and I actually felted onto that. And so here you can see the finished pieces. The skirt was quite a challenge. I did most of it on the computer and a little on the table, but here you can see the shapes, and then I did a tremendous amount of fringing. Because it was complicated, I actually printed out a pattern in half scale and tested it and sewed it up, and then once I was comfortable, I printed out the full scale pattern and moved ahead with confidence. This is another garment, and this utilizes a concept that I call Domino, where you start with one fabric and then you build a piece, and then you take that fabric to the second piece and introduce a new fabric, and you keep dominoing as you go along. So this is an ensemble, and this the jacket instructions, the how-to to do it, are actually in our Easy 7 Jackets ebook, which is a tool and an aid to learning garment designer. So we walk you through all the steps of building the pattern, and we give you the sewing instructions and knitting tips for it. So sometimes I will prototype again in quarter scale. So I printed this out. I just wanted to visualize what fabrics I was going to put where, because I was mixing several fabrics in one garment. And here you can see some of the other pieces. I did a little tank top, I did a little cap sleeve top, I had the skirt, which was the starting point, and I also knit a little vest that could be worn with it too. So you can see all the different pieces. And as always, I love sewing techniques, so I used this binding technique, which is actually included in our ebook. This is another garment that is a domino type design, and therefore also coordinates. So the key garment was the sweater in this case. So I designed the sweater, and then on the sleeve I put facing marking lines. So I knit to a certain point and stopped, and then I cast on again at a higher point and carried on, but then I inserted 2 fabric pieces, stretch velvet and stretch lace. And then I also utilized them again for the little tank top, and then I used the solid fabric for the skirt. So here you see a close-up picture. This also is one of the techniques in our Easy 7 Jackets book. So here you can see all the different pieces, and coordinate-wise they all work together. One more domino design, and this is 3 different pieces. So it involves a top, a skirt, and I knit a sweater to go with it. So the skirt was the interesting part for me in this project. So I designed a skirt where the pocket would push down into the area here, and it is somewhat of a cowl effect on the side. So I actually sewed a seam, and then everything extending became the cowl effect. One of the techniques I used that was interesting in this project was I used my yarn that I knit the sweater with and created piping. And our last garment is a flange jacket, which also is part of our Easy 7 book. And so the flange is the technique that's being used here at the shoulders. And then there was also some space planning for mixing fabrics. So this was the pattern, and I put a facing line to mark where I wanted to splice in a second fabric, and I used a stretch lace in those places. So that's it. That just gives you a quick overview of some coordinate type projects that are easily achieved with Garment Designer. I want to say thank you to the various models and everyone who helps in and around cochineal. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll be notified of other videos that we produce, including other fashion shows. And you can also check us out at our website at www.cochineal.com.